On Children by Khalil Gibran. Khalil Gibran. Khalil Gibran is a Lebanese American artist, poet. He is considered his poems are considered as poetic essays since it doesn't have any kind of proper form. It is neither prose nor poems. So because of that reason, it is considered as poetic essays. It doesn't have any kind of versification. Lebanese, that is a name of a place in America. So he is considered as a Lebanese poet and he is an artist also. He has written a famous book called The Prophet. The Prophet, it is translated into English and Kannada and totally more than 25 languages. In that, he has spoken about various things. The present poem on children, it is an extract from the book called The Prophet. We shall see the poem. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, "Speak to us of children." And he said, "Your children are not your children, they are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts." This poem is almost like a good saying. In Sanskrit literature, there is a concept called Subhashitas. In Kannada literature, there is a concept called Vachanas. These Subhashitas or Vachanas reveals to us the good sayings. This poem is also such kind of thing. Here, there is a person called Al Mustafa. Al Mustafa, he is a prophet in the sense one who has the philosophical and spiritual knowledge is called as prophet. So Al Mustafa is a prophet. He has spoken on various aspects like love, marriage, children, houses, clothes, law, crime and punishment, buying and selling. All these are the things. So almost all on 26 sermons or aspects he has spoken. So among them, on children is also one of them. A woman, along with her baby, she has come and stood in front of the person called Al Mustafa, Prophet. She has asked a question: how to educate the child? She has said to him, "Speak to us of children." And I mean, how to give the education to the children, how we have to bring them up, that she needs to get, that information she needs to get. And he has educated her by this poem. Your children are not your children. That prophet said, "Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself." In their life, they have many different desires. They have their different goals, targets, desires. So, whatever the longingness is there, no longing in sense here, unfulfilled desire. So, in their life, they have many different desires. They are the sons and daughters of life itself. So you should not disturb them by putting the pressure. They come through you, but not from you. Just you are only the media here. God has sent them to you or to the earth. God is the creator and God is the real reason for them. You are not the owner, you are not the reason, you are not the creator of your child. You are only the media. Through you, God has sent them to the earth. So you should not put your thoughts to them. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. Even though they are with you, they are living with you, they are not belong to you. You may have the relationship, but the thing is that that relationship only just temporary. That whatever the soul is there inside the body, it doesn't have any relationship. And he says that they doesn't belong to you, they don't belong to you, but the thing is that they are leading their life with you. You don't have any kind of relationship with them. You may give your love, affection, all these things, and you may give the shelter, food, all the facilities, all these things, but the thing is that you should not transfer your thoughts. You are not allowed to transfer your thoughts. But the thing is that for what reason we should not transfer the thoughts? Those children or your kid has their own thoughts. So because of that reason, you should not transfer your thoughts. If you have transferred your thoughts, what happens? They will be disturbed completely. Their thoughts or their aim, it will be completely disturbed. The child may not achieve anything. Because of that reason, you are not supposed to transfer your thoughts. Only you can support them by giving the facilities. Further part of the poem. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. But you may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backward, not nor tarries with yesterday. Here in this part, he says that the whatever the concept of, called soul is there, no, in philosophy there is a concept called soul. That soul, it doesn't have birth, it doesn't have even death also. So this body, it is almost like a shirt that we may die, I mean that soul, it never dies. Body will be disappeared, soul won't be disappeared. So he says that you may house their bodies, but not their souls. You are living on this earth along with your kids. Only you may have the temporary relationship, but that soul, it doesn't have any kind of relationship. And that soul you cannot house also. You cannot bring the soul, and you cannot keep that soul in your house. Only that body is there along with you. And that soul or the that child, it has many different dreams about the life. So he says that for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow. I mean that future is there for that child, and about the future, that child has its own view. So I have to do the different courses, or I have to learn something. I have to achieve this, that one. I have to become engineer. I have to become doctor. Like that, many different kinds of targets may be there with the child. So that dream will be there, no, that should be fulfilled, that desire should be fulfilled, that the child has to attain the goal. In order to attainment of the goal, that child has to move. So on that situation, the author or the poet is telling, you cannot visit even in your dreams what the child has a dream about its future, that you people cannot visit in even in your dream also. That means, so their generation is different and your generation is different. There is a generation gap here. So your thinking capacity is different and their thinking capacity is different. So because of that reason, you may not visit that even in your dreams also. And in the next line, he further says, you may attempt to be, strive in the sense attempt, strive to be like them. You may attempt to be like them, but don't expect the child to be like you. Because if you have expected the child to be like you, what happens? That the real nature of the child may be completely disappeared. So because of that reason, you should not put any force on that child. It has its own way and it has its own view. So you should not expect the child to be like you, and you have to get adjust and you have to support the child to attain the goal, attainment of the goal or achievement of the goal. And for life goes not backward nor tarries with yesterday. The life is that is own to tomb process. Life that is own to tomb process. So in that we will get many ups and downs, many different kinds of experiences we will get. The concept called life is it never goes backwards, it always it moves further, or it moves forward, it never takes rest. Tarries means rest or be about, it never takes rest. So so always it moves further. Further part of the poem: you are the bows from which your children, as living arrows, are sent forth. The archer sees the mark path upon the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness. For even as he loves the arrows that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. Here he has used metaphor. Metaphor is one of the figures of speech. Here he has compared parents to the bow and children to the arrows. So he says, you are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. So how if we take the bows and arrows, if we leave the arrows in the proper direction, how swiftly it goes. In the same way that the parents have to help their kids or the children to move further like swift arrows. The archer sees the mark upon the path of infinite. The archer, one who uses bows and arrows, archer, one who knows the archery skill. Archer is archer. The archer sees the mark, path upon the infinite. Here, archer in the sense God. God is the archer here. Path of the infinite, endless, boundless, that target that child has to reach. God is operating, God is using the bows and arrows, and parents are the bows and children are the arrows. So God is leaving the arrows in the direction that where he leaves the arrows, path of infinite, endless, boundless, that target these children have to reach. And he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. While using the bows and arrows, God will bend the bow, the parent. So here parents, they have to put complete effort in order to bring their child up, and they have to give the much facilities to the children, and they have to guide in the proper way. All these responsibilities those parents have to shoulder. There are much responsibilities on parents shoulder. They have to shoulder the responsibilities, and God, he will bend the parents how he wants. Here his might means his in the sense here God, his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. So if you have put complete effort and if you have supported your child to attain the goal, to attainment of the goal, to achieve the goal, so God will be pleased, God will get happiness. So what the parents have to do? Parents have to accept this in a proper way. Parents, they have to they have to accept this in a happiest way. They should not jerk, they should not escape from their duty, they have to do their duty. For even as he loves the arrows that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. How he loves kids, I mean the children, arrows in the same way he will love parents also, I mean the bow also. If the parent is stable and if the parent is supporting to the child in order to achieve the child's target or the goal.